ఓకేనా స్టార్ట్ సైన్ నెక్స్ట్ పేజ్ కూడా మాట్లాడారు ఇది పెన్ వస్తుంది ఇదనే పెన్ను
దాంట్లో
Hello everybody. Okay, shall we begin? We have got less time. Okay. Today's article I have picked from Hindu. This is Hyderabad edition, where Supreme Court flags stress and strain on the common people as a reason to give orders to Election Commission of India with respect to special intensive revision. So, what is special intensive revision in the first place? Anyone have idea? Okay. Special intensive revision is conducted by Election Commission of India under Article 324. Article 324 gives Election Commission of India to revise electoral rolls and also prepare electoral rolls where there is a election is being conducted, if there is any election in the future. So according to Article 324, Election Commission of India is conducting special intensive revision in West Bengal. So in this special intensive revision, there are issues flagged by Election Commission of India. Very important issue is that logical discrepancies. Election Commission of India cited logical discrepancies as an issue and sent notice to approximately 1.36 crore people. So 1.36 crore people have been facing issue of notice issued by the Election Commission of India with respect to age discrepancies and progenies. Election Commission of India says that there are issues where the age gap between parents and children is very low and also very high. The very high age gap is very important as Election Commission of India says. Why? Because if 30 years of parents having 20 years of children or 25 years of children, how it could be possible to have 15 to 18 or 20 years of children of age 30 years of parents, right? It is illogical, right? How it is possible? Election Commission of India is asking the voters, so give some legal documents so we can put your names on the electoral list or we can remove the names from the electoral list. That is the reason cited by the Election Commission of India. And other major logical discrepancies cited by the Election Commission of India is that progenies. So some parents are having 100 children or 50 children. It is impossible where a parents can have 100. How? And how could possibly a parents can have 100 children and 50 children? It is impossible, or it's very hard and very difficult to have such children or such number of children, right? So Election Commission of India is questioning these people or members. So give some legal documents so that you can prove that you are having such many children and you are having children with gap of such years of age, right? So now Supreme Court of India says that this is very stressful condition and also very strainful condition where you're putting so much pressure on the common people, so that you have to give 10 days time for these people to give some or submit a logical legal evidences, and also you have to give notice through circulars. So Election Commission of India in this special intensive revision, what is doing is that it is sending some legal notice to the members or voters through WhatsApp. So, using WhatsApp, Election Commission of India is sending notices to the people. But what Supreme Court is saying that you have to send circulars, not WhatsApp messages, so that through that legal circulars, members can apply the legal documents to you, and also they can question your notice. Right? That is what is being happening in the West Bengal. And also, Supreme Court also said that State Election Commission of India and also state government has to provide human resources so that Election Commission of India can conduct an effective and efficient special intensive revision in the state. So if you ask why we need special intensive revision in any state, right? Election Commission of India has already conducted special intensive revision in Bihar, right? So thousands of lakhs of voters have been removed from the voter list. Why? Because there were duplication and also illegal voters were registered in the voter list. So that through a special intensive revision, Election Commission India can remove illegal voters, can reduce the duplication, so that the voter list will be purified, so that only legal voters and only eligible voters can vote in the election, so that we can have a fair election in the country. It is the motto of Election Commission of India to conduct free and fair election in the country according to Article 324 again. So that is what has been going in the West Bengal state. So Supreme Court issued some directions to the Election Commission of India to give 10 days time to the people to submit legal documents, and also it said that you have to give circulars, common circulars, not sending notices through WhatsApp, and also given some orders to the State Election Commission of India and also State Government of West Bengal to provide some adequate human resources to the Election Commission of India, so it can conduct a effective special intensive revision in the West Bengal state. This is the article. I hope I addressed all the which are things mentioned in this article. If you have any doubts, I will address them. Okay, we will move into the next article. That is, it is about central banks, digital currencies. Now, there will be a BRICS summit in India. Hope you already know about the BRICS, right? So there will be a big summit in India. Now what RBI is saying to government, so try to link, push an agenda to link all the central bank digital currencies of the BRIC countries, so we can have a trade in the local currencies. That is idea put forth by India is also, that is the concept we called internationalization of rupee, right? So now RBI says that while you are hosting the BRICS summit, push the agenda of linking all the central banks digital currencies. So through linking all the central bank digital currencies, we can have a trade in local currencies. That is the idea behind this article. So first we understand what is digital currencies, means central bank digital currencies. This central bank digital currencies is nothing but a digital version of physical currencies, so that we can have a transaction digitally, not using physical currencies. We have UPI India, right? UPI is another mode of digital payment, but is the digital currency is different than UPI. So now through this digital version of physical currency, we'll have a transaction, retail transaction or the other trade transactions, right? We have two types in India, digital currencies launched by the Reserve Bank of India. So it is backed by the central government, like other digital currencies are there, like cryptocurrencies. these cryptocurrencies not backed by the central government, are not pushed by the government, any government, not backed by the government. These are private currencies, private digital currencies where there is no central authorities. These cryptocurrencies are other digital currencies are decentralized currencies. Means decentralized means backed by blockchain technology. This blockchain technology is a decentralized technology, means everyone has a say in that particular transaction. But in digital currencies, whole transactions, so the whole currency will be managed by the central bank. Okay na? Central bank. With respect to bank, there will be balance sheet, right? In the balance sheet, the bank will divide assets and liabilities. So in this particular balance sheet, this digital currency is placed under the liability. Okay na? This central bank digital currency is a liability on the central bank of the any country. So now RBI is pushing the idea of linking all the digital currencies of the BRICS countries. So how many of the BRICS countries got digital currencies? Okay, we have to see that also. This is the list of central bank digital currencies of the BRICS countries. First is obviously China. The first one was launched by China, which is called yuan, EC1. It is also called yuan, your digital version of yuan. And now digital ruble of the USA, and e-rupee of India, and Drex by Brazil, digital rand of South Africa, and also digital dirham by UAE. These are the 6 countries currently which are having a digital versions of their physical currencies. Now RBI is trying to push the idea of linking all these digital currencies so that we can have a transaction in the local currencies. But why we must have a trade in the local currencies? That is the idea we have to understand. What is the motto behind linking all the digital currencies? Right. The idea behind linking all the digital currencies, so in trading in the local currencies, is that de-dollarization. So de-dollarization. What is de-dollarization in the first place? Anyone have idea what is de-dollarization? Okay, de-dollarization is nothing but reducing the dependence on the dollar in terms of trade, in terms of forex reserve, right? So this is called idea of de-dollarization. Why we need a de-dollarization in the first place? Okay, understanding de-dollarization is one thing, but why we need a de-dollarization? One is that to reduce the dependence on the dollar. By reducing the dependence in the dollar, we can trade in our local currencies, so we can internationalize our currencies. And second is that we have to reduce the dependence in the dollar because of sanctions. So if anyone acts against the interest of USA, there will be sanctions on those countries. Like we have sanctions on Russia, Iran, North Korea. We also Trump is putting tariffs on all the countries, right? He has announced that he is going to put tariffs on European Union as well. On the issue of Greenland, we have already discussed in the that particular topic yesterday, right? So because of sanctions, we can't trade easily with other countries. Now the issue is faced by Russia. Russia is not able to trade easily with other countries, right? Even North Korea, Iran, for example, if you take Iran facing sanctions because of that Iran's economy is in a crisis. So in order to avoid these sanctions, in order to avoid the USA's monopoly, I mean hegemony in this particular international trade, international economy, we have to de-dollarize our economy. We have to trade in local currencies, so that we are not in the interest. We are not act according to the interest of USA, so that USA can take leverage of our interests. So it can bully other countries. So it can bully other countries. What now it's bullying like Iran, North Korea. So that we can have a sovereignty in our trade. Also, because of reason we have to have a de-dollarized economy, fair international financial transaction. Fair international financial transaction. For example, SWIFT. Right? So SWIFT is a messaging software used by the Western countries. It is backed by Western countries, controlled by Western countries. For example, European Union, France, UK, and also US control this SWIFT system. If you want to have an international transaction, we have to rely on this particular SWIFT. Right? If you have de-dollarized economies, if you are trading in local currencies, you are using local countries, no need to rely on this particular SWIFT. So because of these reasons, to come out of the shadow of the US based economy, means a Western based economy, Western imposed hegemonic economy, we have to completely transform our economy to make our economy is trading in local currencies, de-dollarized economy. That is called fair international financial transaction, as this idea footballed by the Modi in last BRICS summit, when it was hosted in Kazan, Russia. Right? In the summit, Modi put forth the idea of fair international transaction, fair international trade system in the world order. And now, how BRICS is countering this particular Western imposed economic sanctions? How BRICS going to realize their goal of de-dollarization? There are three main initiatives proposed by BRICS, which are now acting as counter idea against the Western dominated economic or means financial institutions. So for example, contingent reserve arrangement. There are two institutions particularly. One is World Bank and is IMF. Right? What World Bank does, it funds developmental projects, infrastructure projects in the developing countries, also least development countries. For example, India, right, Nigeria, all those countries, whatever, sub-Saharan countries, in the South Asian countries, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, all those countries. Now what IMF does is, it funds BOP crisis, balance of payment crisis, right? IMF funds BOP crisis, now World Bank funds developmental projects, right? These are clear? Now, to counter these Western dominated institutions, financial institutions, BRICS comes up the idea of contingent reserve arrangement and new development bank. So contingent reserve arrangement counters the IMF in the international financial transactions. Contingent arrangement funds BOP crisis of its members, BRICS members. So in terms of World Bank and IMF, these fundings will come with conditions. IMF imposes conditions, even World Bank imposes conditions. When India faced economic crisis in 1991, IMF imposed certain conditions on India to have a loan from IMF. So now contingent reserve arrangement funds BOP crisis without any conditions. So this particular IMF and World Bank acts as a tools to newer imperialism. But now contingent reserve arrangement funds the BOP crisis without any conditions, so that developing and least development countries will have a healthy financial situations. And now new development also funds developmental and infrastructure projects in developing and least development countries without any conditions. Now BRICS is proposing BRICS Pay. What the BRICS Pay does? it acts against the SWIFT mechanism. It's a counterweight to SWIFT mechanism, where we can have a cross-border payment system digitally. Digital cross-border payment mechanism between countries. So now by linking all the digital currencies, central bank digital currencies, we can trade local currencies with a BRICS pay. This is called idea of de-dollarization. Why we need de-dollarization and how the BRICS is going to realize this particular idea of de-dollarization. Now, is it possible to de-dollarize? What are the challenges to realize this de-dollarization, the idea of de-dollarization? The world economy still relies on the dollar. More than 50%, 50 to 55% of the world trade is being conducted through dollar. For example, Forex, all the Forex in the world, Forex held by the central banks, right? Forex. Now, these Forex, world's 50 to 60% of the politics is now dominated by the dollar. Because of this reason, the idea of de-dollarization is in a nascent stage. We have to have a more cooperation between BRICS countries. Now countries are hesitant to link their digital currencies, because digital currency is subjected to cyber crimes, all those things. But if we have a mechanism where all countries push the idea, where all countries will have a cooperation, then we can have a de-dollarization, so that we can have a sovereignty in our economic transactions, in a trade. So this is the idea of linking central banks digital currencies and the idea of de-dollarization. If you have any doubts, I will move into the next article, fractured MN. Okay, shall we start? Okay, the fractured MN. Directly going into, before directly going into this particular article, I will just give a glimpse particularly with respect to MN. So this is MN. There are two groups in MN. One is Shia community, one is Sunni community. Okay na? One is Shia, one is Sunni. This Sunni groups is the original government. Okay na? Original government. And Shia community, now they are called rebel groups. Particularly USA listed them as a terrorist organization. Okay na? And now this particular Shia group, which is called rebels, okay na? The Houthis, okay na? Houthis. Houthis are represented by the Shia community. These Houthis backed by the Iran government, okay na? Iran. Iran is again a Shia country, okay na? And now Sunnis are backed by the two governments. One is Saudi Arabia and another one is UAE, United Arab Emirates. But after some time, Houthis were able to capture very heartland of South Yemen. This is the most densely populated area. This is the capital of Yemen, called Sana'a. Now this is administered by the Houthis, captured by Houthis and administered by the Houthis, and rest of the Yemen, now this is called Yemen, okay, I hope it's visible. This is Yemen, this is controlled by the Saudi backed Sunni government, okay na? Rest of this is the orange color, this is controlled by the UAE backed rebel group, okay na? Called Southern Transitional Council. This is Southern Transition Council and Saudi backed original Sunni government were fighting against fighting against the Houthis, right? But now what happened, these are the very important areas. This is Marib, this is Hadramaut and Al-Mahra. These are the very important areas. If you want to note, please note them. The UPSC has a tendency to ask such places. Okay na? This UPSC will throw some places and ask you which are correctly matched. Okay na? These are the three important areas which are being in news. Now what happened is that this is Southern Transitional Council backed by UAE. Okay, na? And now this Southern Transitional Council attacked some areas in the Hadramaut and Marib and also in Al-Mara region. These three areas, Marib, Hadramaut and Al-Mara region, are oily rich region. Means these are having enough oil resources. And now these oil rich resources are controlled by the USA backed government, means Sunni government, original government, which is recognized by USA and UN. But what happened? Southern Transitional Council wanted to have a domination on these regions, oil rich region, so that it can have a trade, oil trade with respect to rest of the world, so have a financial leverage against the particular original Sunni community. These are also Sunni. Southern Transitional Council are also Sunnis, but they are backed by UAE government. These Southern Transitional Council backed by UAE government, and Saudi Arabia backs Sunni community. Sunni led government in Yemen. So this is Aden, where this is Aden controlled by the Southern Transitional Council. So this is very important area where Aden Gulf, right? Aden Gulf, so where Red Sea is connected to the Arabian Sea. This is the very important transition area where most of the world's trade happens to this particular Gulf. Now this Aden, which controlled by the Southern Transitional Council, is controlling this particular transition route, means trade route. But now they are eyeing on the mineral rich region, means the oil rich region, so that they can have a financial leverage against the particular group. Because if Saudi Arabia and UAE led coalition, if beats this particular Houthi rebels in the Yemen, who will be next leading this particular Yemen? There will be a conflict. So because of the reason, Southern Transitional Council want to have that leverage. They want to throw out this particular Sunni-led coalition, Sunni-led government, so they want to have power in Yemen. Because of the reason, there is a conflict between these two coalition, right? These are the coalition. They are fighting against the Houthi rebels in particular Yemen, but now they are conflicting each other. So now this particular article says that there should be a dialogue between UAE and Saudi Arabia, so they can fight against the common enemy. Who is common enemy now? Houthi rebels. This is with respect to this particular fractured Yemen. Now the coalition were fighting east again. That is the idea of this particular fractured Yemen article. If you have any doubts, I will move into the next article. Okay. India signs letter of intent to elevate defense ties with UAE. So this is the article published today, and I have picked this article because it has a relation with the previous article. Because Saudi Arabia and UAE are fighting east against each other in Yemen. Now UAE wants to have a strategic defense partnership with India. So now they have a dialogue. They had a dialogue with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. They wanted to achieve a trade worth of 200 billion by 2032. And also they want to have achieved the oil, the energy deal, where they want to sell, UAE want to sell 0.5 million metric tons per year after 2028. So this is, and also they have signed a space deal in space. Okay, now Indian National Space Agency. Space. I don't know. I got full form. Okay, in space and Space Agency of UAE have signed space deal, they will establish a space industry in UAE. Space industry in UAE, because ISRO is pioneering, one of the pioneers in the space industry. So UAE want to have that cooperation with India, so that they can also have a well-established space industry in the countries. They wanted to have a partnership with in space. Okay, and now these are all kept aside. Why India want to have a defense ties with UAE? So we have established the free trade with UAE, right? Free trade with UAE. Now that particular ties, they are extending that particular ties with also to the defense area. Why? See, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, they had a deal called Saudi-Pakistan Defense Cooperation in recent years, and now Pakistan is cooperating with Saudi Arabia, and also they are helping Saudi Arabia in the particular Yemen region. At Yemen region, so in Yemen, Pakistan is cooperating with Saudi Arabia, and because of that reason, Saudi Arabia is, particularly Saudi Arabia is now targeting particular Southern Transitional Council, and they are beating, okay, now they are gaining victorious in this particular Yemen over the Southern Transition Council, which is backed by UAE. Now UAE want to have that particular leverage in the particular region, in Gulf region. The Gulf region is a turmoil region, and UAE want to have that particular strong strong attribute, particularly in the Gulf region. They want to have leverage with respect to defense. They want to have a deal, strategic partnership deal with India. After this particular partnership, they will have particularly access to technology, even guns, all those, Navy, Air Force, everything, even with respect to air defense also. So after this particular partnership, UAE want to have a strong military base in the Gulf region, so they can counter Saudi Arabia, even particularly Iran as well. So this is the whole idea with respect to letter of intent, signing a strategic partnership deal with respect to India. If you have any doubts, I will address them. Otherwise, I will move to the next article. Next. Okay. This is for it. Okay. I think all the important articles which are appeared in the Hindu newspaper, we have discussed all of them. Okay. Shall we wind up this session? Okay. Thank you.